Alright, so today guys we are moving on to chapter 2. Okay, we've finished chapter 1, we're now going to start chapter 2. Remember in chapter 1 we were looking at identifying and describing the relationship between two categorical variables. Today we're going to be looking at fitting a line to bivariate numerical data. Okay, how do we go about doing that? We use a method called the least squares method. Okay, just to start with, I'm going to get us a bit of terminology down just to get our head around it. All I've started with here was just drawing up a scatter plot. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for my scatter plot. Then I've gone and put through my regression line. Okay, hopefully that's all familiar to you. The one thing that you will notice that's a bit different is I've got these pinkish orangish lines on there. Okay, what are they? They're something that we call residuals. Okay, all they are is they are the distance between the regression line and the point or coordinate of it. Okay, that's all you need to know for that. Just knowing what residuals are, we'll get into them in a little bit later. Okay, so the least squares method, we're going to be using it in the next few videos. What is it? Okay, all it is it's a method that can find us that regression line. Okay, the equation for least squares method is given by y equals a plus bx. Okay, in this we've got the slope as b and the intercept as a. Hopefully that rings a bit of a bell for you from what we've learnt previously. The one other thing that we know, we can calculate the slope and the intercept. Okay, so just to recap that, the least squares method is the formula y equals a plus bx. We've got the slope and the intercept as b and a, and I've got my formulas here to calculate either the slope or the intercept. Okay, hopefully by now we are aware with what Sx is, what all these sort of values mean. Okay, if we're not, make sure we copy this down. If not, I'm going to skip over that so that we can keep moving forward. Okay, so here I've got the slope can equal, so b equals the correlation coefficient multiplied by the standard deviation of y divided by the standard deviation for x. Okay, for the intercept, all I've got is a equals the mean of y, take b the mean of x. Okay, that's all I've got for my two formulas there. I'm going to keep moving through and give a start of this example. Make sure you've got this side down and then we'll start on this example. Alright, so we've got the height and weight of 11 people have been recorded and the values of the following statistics determined. Okay, so from all the data they've come up with the mean of x and y, the standard deviation of x and y, and the correlation coefficient. Okay, it's asked us use the formula to determine the equation of the line, the equation of the least squares regression line that enables weight to be predicted from height. Okay, all we're doing here is we're just going to try and figure out this formula so that we can get an equation. Okay, that's all the questions asked us to do. Don't get too confused by the wording or anything. It's just asking us to find the equation y equals a plus bx. Okay, before I do anything, what I'm going to write up is my explanatory variable and my response variable. Okay, from we're reading the question and the main bit here that enables weight to be predicted from height. Okay, we've got that. The other indicator is height is the x, weight is the y. Either way, whichever way you pick it, we just need to know that the explanatory or the EV is height and the RV or response variable is weight. Okay, let's just make a note of that and now I'm going to move on. Okay, our formula we're going to be using is y equals a plus bx. Okay, in this formula, or in this question rather, it hasn't told me the slope, it hasn't told me the intercept. Okay, I'm going to have to go through and I'm going to have to map that one out. I'm just going to put that off to the side and I'm going to start with my slope. Okay, so I'm trying to determine what the slope is and I'm going to do that by using the formula. Okay, all I need to do is firstly write out the formula for finding the slope. Okay, in my question I can already go ahead and I can start to calculate the answer for this. I know what the correlation coefficient is, I know what the standard deviation of y is, and I know what the standard deviation of x is. Okay, This has all been given to me. Now all I need to do is go through and start calculating that out. Okay, I'm going to substitute my values in, so I get R, which is 0.8502 multiplied by 7.594, and that's all divided by 7.44. Okay, when I put that in, I get 0.87, and that's to 2 decimal place. Okay, nothing too tricky here. All I've done is I've just used the slope formula, which is the correlation coefficient multiplied by the standard deviation of y divided by the standard deviation of x. Okay, that's all I've done. Now I'm going to move on. Alright, I'm going to now go and figure out what the intercept is. Okay, again, how do I do this? Start out by writing out the formula. Okay, A, which is the intercept, equals the mean of y, take the slope, multiplied by the mean of x. Okay, all this information here has been given to me. So I've got y equals 65.45, subtract, and I've already calculated this b. Okay, this is the main bit that might confuse you. If you need this explained, just go over it. So first you need to calculate the slope. Now I can put this in. So I've got my take, and I multiply that by the mean of x. And I can put that in my calculator. Okay, once I chuck that in, I get negative 85 as my answer. Okay, so straight away I've calculated what is my slope, what is my intercept. Now I'm pretty much there to figure out the equation for least squares method. Okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to write that out. So I'm going to write, let's just do it over here. Therefore, A plus BX equals, so now what is my A value? It is negative 85 plus, what is my B value? Okay, the only thing, rather than leaving it at this as my answer, at the very start it said the height x and weight y. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one more quick step where I just substitute in what they have asked. So instead of writing y equals negative 85 plus 0.87x, I've just substituted it for weight equals negative 85 plus 0.87 multiplied by height. Okay, so just to recap this question as our final answer, and this is important that you can understand it, we can, from this data here, we can establish that you can figure out someone's weight by using the formula of negative 85 plus 0.87 times their height. Okay, that's the main bit. Remember, there is the Excel video also to watch. Other than that, this is a pretty straightforward example. Just make sure you've got your three formulas, you calculate your slope, calculate your intercept, substitute into the formula. Okay, other than that, make